We're here at the Smith County Heritage Museum. Welcome to the December edition of the Chamber Corner. As you can see, we're here at the Smith County Heritage Museum, and we're interviewing some folks about things that are going on in the county. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Just tell them who you are.
I am Jade Dorsum, and I just moved here from Indiana. We have taken over Smith County Child Care. It is now Kids Space.
Okay, well, we're glad to have you. Welcome to the community,
Thank you.
first of all. And secondly, I know the first question people will ask, what are your hours over there?
They are 5:30 a.m. till 5:30 p.m.
Okay, so if a person's working an 8-hour shift, they've got plenty of time
Yes.
to get their child there and pick them up.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful thing. And you've got a lot of folks that work in that area over there, so I'd say you have a good
Yes.
turnout. How many, what's your capacity for children and what ages?
We hold 86 children. We have anywhere from 6 weeks old to 6 years old. So when you guys decide to put them in kindergarten.
Okay, so kindergarten age and up, of course, they're in school.
Yes.
So you handle anything from birth to
Yes.
basically starting school.
Yes.
Well, that's a good thing too. Just some of the normal questions. Do you have classes for some of them, or do you do a little bit of teaching and things like that?
Yes. So we are a play-based learning, meaning we do have teacher-based activities, but we like the children to create their own discoveries. So we want them to learn through play. So they are playing, but there are some classes for the children. We do preschool for the kids getting ready to go to kindergarten. We do that in just learning our letters, our numbers, the ABCs, writing your name, things like that.
Okay. Well, now the next thing that comes to mind to me is somebody's looking at this and they go, "Hey, I think I want to do that." How do they contact you or sign up to have their child included?
We have an interview process. You come in for a tour, then we have a packet that you fill out. Right now it's just paperwork, but we are updating and remodeling, so it will be online hopefully soon.
Okay, so basically they need to get in contact with you. What's a number or email or website or something?
So our phone number is 615-683-4146, or my email is jade.dorsum, DORSAM, @outlook.com.
Okay, now prior there had been folks that were running the business. Is it the same phone number?
Yeah, it was the same phone number.
Okay.
And I just kept it. We just did a transfer.
Well, which makes sense, and that's a good thing. If you're out there and you go, well, I don't remember, it's the same phone number as last time. Okay, when you are running this, I know you had talked about remodeling just now.
Yes.
So you're delaying your grand opening, so to speak,
Yes.
until the spring, I believe is what you said.
Yes.
So you're going to do a remodel, and I guess it's been a while since that's been remodeled,
Yes.
so you're looking forward to
I
getting
am
that
looking
done?
forward. We're hoping tentatively in March.
Okay.
So we'll have a ribbon cutting and a grand opening for the community can come and visit and tour and see what they think.
Okay, I think that's a good thing. Is there anything I am failing to ask you that you need to get out there in the public about your child care?
I don't think so. I just wanted everyone to know that there was under new ownership, and I am excited to see everyone, and I hope new people come in.
Okay, well, folks, if you need child care, and I know child care is very vital,
Yes.
for especially people that are working parents, you need to call Jade, and Jade, give that phone number one
It
more
is
time.
615-683-4146, and we are located next to the industrial park on
Okay.
JMZ Drive.
JMZ Drive, just right off of the interstate there.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
We're in another section of the museum here. This is the actual Civil War display, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff displayed here, and one is a side saddle here that's on the table, and they've got a little bit of Christmas decoration up. Anyway, we have our honored guest. Mary, tell them who you are, who you with.
I'm Mary Draper. I'm the Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent for Smith County.
Okay, and Mary, she operates a group of folks around here who are a driving force and a vital part of our community, and that's the FCE clubs.
Yes.
And I wanted you to be here today to thank them, in particular one club. Now, I called it the Brush Creek Club, but you corrected me. There is not a Brush Creek Club, right?
Right. We have 8 clubs across the county, and the one to which Bill is referring to is the Grant Club. And so they recently decorated the planters outside of the historic courthouse, so we're very grateful to them. The Carthage Club had been doing that, I think, actually in the fall, the Night Owls Club had been doing that. So they're rotating through the seasons, but we're very grateful to have them help with that, and it's set up for the Christmas season.
Yes, it is, and it looks beautiful. And I commented, I happened to be there when those ladies, 2 of them anyway, were there, and I got a picture, so I'll share that with you.
Yes.
But ladies, if you're in the FCE and you're watching this program, we appreciate so much you taking pride in our county and helping us keep the courthouse looking good. I don't know if you've looked yet, but I believe the courthouse looks better this year than it has in any time past.
Yes, I don't know who did all the Christmas decorations, but they certainly do look good.
I won't take much credit, but Miss Stephanie Winfrey and my wife, and if I start naming other people, I'll forget somebody. But
yes, I understand.
we all had a hand in it.
Yes, that's wonderful.
And it turned out really well. Well, I know you really didn't have anything else to come for, but you might want to talk about FCE, and maybe there's somebody out there that doesn't know what it is and they might want to join. Can you enlighten them?
So FCE stands for Family and Community Education Clubs, and like we previously stated, we have 8 around the community. So they're kind of based on where you might live, but if you do work, we have one that meets at the chamber, a kind of central location at night, so 6:30. But we'd love to have you come and visit any of them. Anybody is welcome. There's no age or gender or any kind of stipulation, so everybody is welcome. And they do community service, as well as they have an educational portion of their clubs. So over the last year, they've had 6, I believe, members that had completed 500 hours of volunteer work just on their own. So things like decorating the courthouse would go into that. I know that they've done work with the Spot, the after-school program for those older children. They have helped the Pregnancy Help Center and just do all kind of community service projects.
Well, they're definitely a driving force in the community, and we appreciate what they do for sure.
Yes.
There's some other programs that you actually have a hand in, and I know we don't have anything going right now because of the Christmas season. So maybe you want to talk about some shopping tips or something like that to kind of guide people?
So I'm the FCS Extension Agent, so that stands for Family and Consumer Family and Consumer Sciences, and we have 5 areas, which home, food, family, nutrition, and then money is one as well. And so, of course, right now, everything is so expensive because of inflation, and over the past year, inflation has driven overall prices 8.2%, and with groceries, though, a whopping 13%. So with that, our grocery bills, of course, might be a little bit steeper. So just thinking about that, some of the shopping tips that I try to plan for is exactly that. You try to plan for your shopping trip. So make a list and know exactly the quantity that you need, and plan ahead for the meals that you want for throughout the week, because saving those trips saves money ultimately. So know what you have on hand, and then when you go to the grocery store, you want to compare prices on the brands. So lots of times the generic brands, of course, are cheaper, so just kind of keep that in mind. And buying in bulk is a good idea if you have space for it, so either freezer or pantry space, and you can afford to go ahead and purchase that bulk amount. Also, coupons are a good idea, but make sure that you use this coupon mindfully. So make sure that whatever you have, you use it in time before it expires, and that you actually need that item. And then another one that I think is always a good one, and maybe people kind of just miss over, is to don't check out at the checkout. So be mindful whenever either yourself or the clerk is checking you out, because lots of times we can miss those savings that are advertised, or you might miss a coupon as well. So Those are
So
few
you're
shopping
saying that the
tips.
self-checkout, sometimes you'll miss those things.
You might miss that, and even when you go to the cashier, you know, lots of times you're just pulling the things out of your cart and you're not watching ringing up, and then you could miss out on savings that way.
Okay, and I know coupons make a big difference.
Yes.
So. Okay, well, thank you for coming by. If anybody has a question or something about consumer science or FCE or really anything with the extension, what number do they call?
615-735-2900.
Well, Mary, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're in another section of the Smith County Heritage Museum, and this is a great place to visit if you get a chance. And as a matter of fact, Tip is here. Tip, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them what your role is here.
Okay, hi, I'm Tip Reed, or my real name's Andy Reed, but everybody knows me as Tip here in Carthage, and I'm the vice president on the council here at the museum, and I'm very involved with this museum. It's a wonderful place. We've got a great council group. We're energetic. We participate in as many events as we can in the county. We're in the Carthage Christmas Parade. We're in the Gorgeville Christmas Parade. We participate in William Walton Days and any other events that we can participate in. And we've got a lot of energy, and we've got a really good group of people to work with. And it's really an enjoyable museum, and we're doing everything we can to promote the history of Smith County at this museum.
Yeah, and it's a great place. If you don't know much about Smith County, you can definitely learn a lot here. And there's some archival records, and of course we have archives over in the courthouse and in some microfiche records in the library. So if you're doing research, this is a great place to sit and do it. And we've got records all the way back to 1799, as far as I know.
Is that right? Yeah. Probably so. And we have a lot of people to come in and go through our history books and the history book of Smith County and what other books we have that do genealogy research and look for members of their family or whatever topic they're looking for. But we have a lot of interested people to come in and study and look for information about the county and the people.
And that's where you find out that people from Smith County have spread all over the world. That's a fact. We're in a section here. This honors the music, and of course, Mr. D. Ford Bailey was on the Grand Ole Opry, one of the original members. Mr. Cordell Kemp was a local banjo hero, and then of course we had Mr. Jerry Futrell was part of the gospel music scene around here when he was around, and then of course
The Wilburn family.
Family was a big part of the gospel music scene here in the country. So we've got a lot of history here. We talk about our politics, the Gores, and well, a lot of other folks that are here. And then of course we have the veterans area that's really good.
Right.
And I know you have an extensive collection of the what do you call it? Not prehistory, but
I call it the indigenous people, the Native Americans.
Native Americans.
We have a good collection of the stone tools that the indigenous and Native American people that lived here in Smith County used probably up to 12,000 years ago or so. And it's a good collection, and it's very interesting. And you know, Bill, we have a lot of school children to come in.
Yeah.
And we're really good. We're really big on school children because it gives us a chance to let the school children see what Smith County had to offer in the past, and see what things were like in the past. It's really good.
All right. If they want some more information, can you give them the phone number?
Yes, phone number is 615-735-1104, and we're on Facebook, and we have the website, and that's a great place to find the information that you need.
Okay. Well, Tip, thanks a lot for coming by.
Thank you.
Or I guess thanks for letting us come by.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey everybody, Chris Hicks with Katie Martin from the UT Extension Office. Appreciate the opportunity to be on the Chamber Corner again this month. What I wanted to talk about today, Katie, is maybe an unusual topic for December. I was going to mention about garden diseases, and again, December might not be the month where you typically think about that, but really the decisions we make during December have a big impact on the disease pressure we see in our garden. So if you are planning on having a garden in 2023, maybe you had one this year, here's a few tips to keep in mind on lowering your disease pressure. Number one is get rid of that crop residue from the old year. So if if you had tomatoes and peppers and squash and things in 2022, especially if you had disease in some of those things, make sure you get rid of that crop residue, plow it under, remove it, whatever you have to do, because it can harbor disease for the next year. The other thing that I would say is go ahead and start buying those seeds. Think about resistant varieties. If you're buying seed, you want to get healthy seed that are free of disease to start with, but also some maybe that have varieties that have disease resistance built in. We can breed in a lot of disease resistance. And the third tip I would mention is about crop rotation. So if you've been growing peppers in the same spot for 4 or 5 years, you're probably seeing a lot of disease. So you need to rotate into another crop family. Now, don't rotate into tomatoes because they're both in the same family. They're both in the nightshade family. You'd want to rotate into maybe sweet corn or into some other family, green beans or squash, something like that is a different crop family. So crop rotation is really important where we're not burning up the soil and also getting diseases, because a lot of those diseases affect the same family of crops. So if you rotate into a different crop, you can lower those diseases. So again, I think the decisions and the things you're thinking about in December can have a major impact on the quality of your year. Now, speaking of gardening and things like that, we're gonna do our Ag Talk Tuesday again in 2023, and our first session is going to be on fruit tree production. That's going to be January the 24th. I know that's a little ways off, but it'll be here before you know it, so be thinking about that. We'll have Dr. David Lockwood. Dr. Lockwood is our fruit and nut specialist at the University of Tennessee, world renowned. He literally travels the world giving talks and providing his expertise. So he's going to join us on Zoom on January 24th to talk about fruit tree pruning and fruit tree production. So if you have an orchard or just 1 or 2 apple trees, you'll learn something, I promise, from Dr. Lockwood. So be checking our Facebook page, our UT Extension website, smith.tennessee.edu, and we'll have more information on that. So those are a few things coming up, and we're working on in A&R program, Agriculture and Natural Resources at the UT Extension office, but I know our 4-H program, Katie, has been wide open. You've been super busy. I've had a lot going on in that area too.
It has been a busy fall for Smith County 4-H, but a very good fall. We actually recently got back from the National Poultry Judging Contest, where we had 4 of our senior high Smith County 4-Hers compete at the national level. They qualified at the state contest by winning state to compete at that level, and we went to Louisville. We got to tour Churchill Downs. We had a lot of fun. And they also did really well in the contest. They placed top 5 in the nation as a team out of almost 20 teams, so such an accomplishment. We also had Gabe Harville and Carson Meeks, who placed in the top 20 individually. Abby Malone and Kenley Davis were also on that team. So we just want to give a special shout out to those 4-Hers because they put in so much hard work to get to that level of competition, and we're just so proud of how they represented Smith County and Tennessee as well. So that was a big thing in November. Coming up in December 15th, we've got our Christmas party for our community club. That's for our 7th through 12th graders, those middle school on into high school 4-H members. Our community club is great because not only does it offer fun social activities, but we also focus on community service. So if you've got a 7th through 12th grader maybe needing community service hours for another club like Beta Club, or just somebody that wants to be more involved in the community, I would really recommend they get involved with community club. We have so many opportunities for them there. You can always reach out to our office at 615-735-2900 for more information about club meetings like that one. Also, in January, we will really get started with a lot of our practices for all of those spring activities and spring judging teams. So just to go ahead and plant the seed, if you know of a 4th through 12th grader that might want to do archery, horse judging, or livestock judging, be on the lookout for those coming up. We, of course, will post to our Facebook page. We'll have it on our website. They'll come home with a newsletter at their January club meeting that has more details, but we don't want anybody to miss out on those 3 big opportunities in the spring if that's something they are interested in. You don't have to have previous experience. You don't have to already be an expert. If you have the desire to learn about archery, horse judging, or livestock judging, we would love to have you. So lots of things coming up in 4-H. Stay tuned to those social media pages and websites. Pay attention to those newsletters your kiddos bring home. There is always something going on with Smith County 4-H. Now we want you to stay tuned and enjoy this segment of In the Wild with Gabe Harville.
Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of In the Wild with Gabe Harville. It's wintertime, and while many humans are going around buying Christmas presents, sitting around fires, or going to the coat section of a store, in nature, many animals are hibernating. These animals can be anything from bats to bears. In this episode, I'll go over how these animals get ready for hibernation and what they do during hibernation. First of all, hibernation is a way to conserve energy for animals during the winter months. And animals such as the Indiana bat, an endangered bat species in Tennessee, hibernate in large, cool limestone caves. To do this, they must eat bugs on warm spring, summer, and fall evenings. Another animal that hibernates, a familiar face in Tennessee, is the groundhog. Groundhogs hibernate in their own burrows that they dig, and they wall themselves off during the wintertime to keep predators like foxes from getting to them. Groundhogs undergo changes that are incredible to me. They take one breath every 6 minutes during hibernation. And that's something that I know that nobody, human-wise, could do. A large animal that hibernates is the black bear. During the spring and summer, they'll eat leaves and fruits from trees and bushes, and during the fall, they'll feast on Tennessee's crop of nuts, called a mast crop. This can be anything from acorns to beech nuts to hickory nuts. And once they get ready for hibernation, they'll find a cave or a hollow tree, or they'll go underneath the tree roots, as you can see Rosie is checking out here. Other animals that hibernate, many people don't think about this, are frogs. And just for examples, I'll go over the American bullfrog and the wood frog. During the winter months, after the breeding season, the bullfrog will bury itself in mud, and it'll take the needed oxygen through its skin. And the wood frog, what it does is truly amazing. It can freeze solid and then come back to life during the springtime because of some kind of antifreeze in its blood. It's truly amazing. Hopefully you all have learned something in this episode. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to say thank y'all for watching me. Rosie and I sure do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all next year in the wild. Hopefully you've learned something in this episode, and I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you all for watching me. Oh my gosh, I did it again. Another big animal that hibernates is the black bear. During the spring and summer, they'll feast on leaves and fruits, and during fall, they'll have, I don't know.
Well, we're happy to be here at the Heritage Museum, and Mayor, I don't think you need an introduction. This is Mayor Jeff Mason, and you've been our mayor for, this is into your second term now, right?
Yep, we started our second term in September, and just glad and happy to get to continue to do it for 4 more years.
Well, and that's good. And I can say this, you probably wouldn't want to say this, but you did such a good job the first 4 years, nobody ran against you.
Well, that's that. I appreciate that. That's a good thing to say.
And that's an opinion that I have. I think that there's been a lot of things that you had to face that some of them you expected, some of them you didn't.
Absolutely.
And we seem to have come through them very well. had the election. You've got a young court now.
We do.
New young bunch of guys, and so
And gals.
and ladies. And I think you've got a really good thing ahead of you.
We do. I'm excited. It's. I think we turned 16 seats. I mean, it was quite a bit of turnover this time.
It was 12 or 14, yeah.
Yeah, 12 or 14, so half of it. And then you look back at that, I think 2 or 3 had served more than 2 terms, and a lot of those, the rest of those were just 1 terms last year. So it's a young court. I would, like you said, young as far as experience, but a lot of smart, a lot of great questions we've been getting, a lot of great discussions. It's they keep you on your toes, answering questions. So and right now they all seem pretty engaged, and so it's a good thing, good time.
Yeah, well, and I'm excited about this because I had the privilege of seeing some of them when they taped or at some of the meetings that we had where they could get out in the public. And it was pretty exciting hearing some of the things they had to say. It sounded like they were pretty open-minded and wanted to do, obviously, what's best for the county. And
Absolutely.
That's the people that you want.
That's the number one goal. And, you know, we try to keep as limited as possible. And with that, you know, there's certain things you can do and certain things you don't want to do. So we try to keep stay in the old saying, stay in our lane and do what, you know, my goal is to let government do what it's supposed to do and not get much far outside of that.
Yeah. Well, we have 2, because of the redistricting, we have a new senator, Paul Bailey.
Correct.
And also we have a new representative, Michael Hale.
Absolutely.
And I remember, I think you were there, and he said, well, they told us at the state, because he's new to this too.
Right.
At the state level, they told him, they said, well, we don't need to worry a lot about what's national politics and what's national problems. We need to worry about the state of Tennessee. And I'm sure that comes down to you.
It does.
You worry about the Smith County.
It does. And congratulations to both those gentlemen. I've known Senator Bailey a while. Got to know Michael Hale, and I'm extremely excited about what those guys do and how they'll represent us in Nashville. But you are correct, Bill. The more we look around and see the, for lack of a better term, the craziness that's going on, you know, the things, and that's on both sides. I'm not pointing fingers at either side, and I really wish we could all just get past that and go back to just being able to get along and share common ideas and do what's right. I mean, you're not going to get everything you want, and you may have to give up. But at the end of the day, it is our job, mine as the mayor and all the elected officials and the county commission and even the city mayors and the councils, we got to take care of Smith County. Nobody else is going to take care of Smith County like we do, because this is where for the most part, this is where we were born, where we were raised, it's where we lived, it's where we want to raise our families. So this is the most important thing that we can take care of. So we need to make sure we're taking care of that and taking care of our people. But also, it's my job, and anybody else that wants to help me, it's my job to convey to Senator Bailey and Representative Hale, hey, Smith County needs this. I need your help on this, or don't do this because it's going to hurt Smith County. So, you know, that's a big part of my job is being, for lack of a better term, the lobbyist for Smith County.
Exactly. Well, and also getting outside the county court, we've got a new mayor in South Carthage, Mr.
We do.
Joey Nixon. Well, John Potts is over at Gordonsville. He's been there
about 2 years. He's starting his 3rd year in office.
Yeah, so he's got some experience under his belt.
Yeah,
and then
he's the veteran city mayor. Right
yeah, he is. And then Steve Babcock is newly elected here in Carthage.
And really excited about those guys and what we can all do together. It's been. We had lunch together last week, all 4 of us, and had a really good discussion. We had a meeting this morning about a project that I can't really talk about yet, but it's something that we're all 4 looking at and working together on, and really excited. And as you and I talked, and I told, you know, they all had different things going on this afternoon, couldn't be here, but eventually we all will want to come and sit and have kind of basically, you know, we're going to steal an hour of your time and do a round table and discuss those issues, because, you know, we are, you know, I hear this a lot. People say, we need to be metropolitan government. Well, I'm not 100% for that, because our communities, our little schools are what makes our communities. that's what sets a lot of our identities of our communities and our
Absolutely.
So I don't never want to lose that, because I think that's one thing about a small county, small town, is those little communities tight knit and they rally around those certain things. But there's things that we could possibly work together with the four of us and standardize and, for lack of a better term, metropolitanize, that makes us, my favorite words for government, it makes us more of an efficient and effective government across all municipalities and the county. And that's something, I think with the four of us together, we get along really well, and we can share ideas, I think there's a chance that we can do a lot of stuff that we maybe couldn't do in the past, and I'm excited about that.
Well, we're a representative republic in this country,
right.
and democracy is messy because of all the debate and everything. But at the end of the day, it's the cooperation that makes it work.
It is.
And that's what you're talking about.
And Bill, you and I, we've shared this before. You have a sales background, I have a sales background, and what was the key to that? It was relationships.
Yeah.
And so you build those relationships. Now, does that mean all four of us are always going to agree? But I think no, we're not, because you're going to, I have the privilege of representing 19,900 people, and their constituents are also my constituents. So I see I look at everything from a broad view of the county in whole, where they're representing their individual cities. So it's different, but we also what I feel like, and I have seen out of these three, and I know from my part, what's good for Gorgeville is good for Carthage and good for South Carthage, and even on a smaller granular level, what's good for Gorgeville may be good for Defeated, or maybe good for Elmwood, or what's good for Carthage is good for New Middleton. So we all work together as a whole, and things are better across the board for everything. And we try to maintain and keep a consistent and a steady ship, then that helps everything.
Well, it does, and we're in the Upper Cumberland here, and I know you have a good relationship with the mayors in the other counties that surround us.
It's blessed.
And I think that makes a difference too, because you can help each other.
When you expand that out from here, then yes, the 14 counties that make up the Upper Cumberland, we all kind of feel that have that same mentality, because we talk about it a lot, that we have a lot of people that leave Smith County every day and drive to Lebanon or Nashville or Murfreesboro or Spring Hill or Columbia for work. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what Jackson County, Macon County, and Clay County do?
They come here.
They drive here for work. So we're all sharing, we're all working with the same people in the same workforce. And so what's good for Smith County can also be good for Overton County, or, so it comes in, so it's Smith County first, Upper Cumberland, state, and then, that's how we how we've all kind of looked at it.
Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it. For years, I worked over at the mine many decades ago, and I worked with guys from Jackson County and from Westmoreland area, Macon County, and so
when I growing up, and we're all in school. If you're my age group and you didn't work at Bonnell, you probably lived a privileged life because because your parents didn't make you go work at Bonnell for a summer between school. Yeah. But there were people from, like you said, Jackson County, even Kentucky, Gamaliel, Tompkinsville, those people driving in here because if you get out past here and there's not a lot of industry, not a lot of jobs, so they travel here to get it. It's kind of like our people have decided that, hey, just money's good in Smith County, but I can make more money in Wilson County, Rutherford County, and Davidson County. So it just, it's just the way it is. And
it works out in that drive time.
Right.
We're blessed too to have I-40 coming through.
We are.
We started out with the river, and then we next the railroads, and now we've got I-40 coming through, and that's driving a lot of economic blessings to us. I think.
It is.
Now that's a segue. Exit 258 has always been a little crowded and everything, and I know you guys, you don't have anything that you can officially announce, but I know you and the representative and senator are working toward that.
We have been. I know Senator Bailey's had some high-level meetings with the commissioner at TDOT on that, and the best answer I can give you is he wasn't told no. Yeah. So that gives me a hope and a pause, and I know Michael Hale has mentioned it several times that's number one his priorities, and it again, that's one of those things that helps everybody. It creates more ease here, and it gives us a chance to grow and to take advantage of some things that we don't have, and it in some congestion. They are right now in the process of putting the red light red light up on the westbound side. So don't know that fixes everything, but I think it'll be a part of a help, and it's part of a step. It's step one into a 2 or 3 part series. So we'll take everything we can get. So that should be good.
Well, now, I know, speaking of that area over there, the industrial property that you had over there has been purchased.
It has been.
And they're going to be doing a mixed use, I think?
Mixed use, kind of, going to save some of it kind of for some industrial. And then there's going to be some residential, some multifamily, some commercial, some retail, some restaurants, we're hoping, maybe even some hospitality. So there's a lot of possibilities there, and we're excited to see how that's going to turn out. And
well, there's going to be a lot of growth in the Gorge.
Absolutely. There's some market conditions we're seeing now that may slow some of that down. We were blowing and going on the building permit side and averaging 20-25 a month. And I was talking to our land use director yesterday, and he did one building permit this week, and that had been the first one since he'd done since early November. So we're seeing a small. But again, part of that is we're always slow this time of year. You've got cold, nasty weather as we see. You've got the holidays and stuff like that. So there's a natural slowdown there. I'll be interested to see this spring if that market bounces back to as hot as it was for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and like you said, slowdown this year. I know traditionally in my business, 2 days before Christmas Eve until 2 days after New Year. My phone didn't ring.
Oh yeah, I mean that was the thing. It was a little different for me on the manufacturing side. You run in and you had a lot of shutdowns at that time, so they weren't looking to buy new equipment. They were looking to get new stuff installed. Then on the other side, on the flip side, when I was selling just straight up capital products, a lot of times at the end of the year, they would need a tax break and they'd buy a piece of equipment. So I've worked on New Year's Eve many a day trying to get a purchase order in and so they could, get a tax break. So it's just funny how that works. And
it depends on the industry.
It does. It really does. And that's, that's the economy. The economy ebbs and flows off, a lot of times it's based off what the automotive market's doing. And right now it's pretty strong. So, the jobs are good. We're still, zinc mine's still rolling on good. Bonnell's back. They took kind of a little slow, but I think they're back to really busy. So, for the most part, and I don't know if you've been out, but we were in Cookeville last night, and I was in Mount Juliet last weekend for something, and you can't see a slowdown on the retail side because there's people out everywhere.
Yeah, people are spending their money.
That's right.
And shopping, and I know.
And they're doing it here.
Here, we're seeing an uptick in sales tax in Smith County.
Yes, we've continuously seen that for the last 2 years. I know there was a mad scramble at my family's Thanksgiving for my wife and daughters and some of their cousins to get over here to Holly's to get in line for the sale on Thursday night. So, and then Teresa's Gift as well was doing that thing. So, and then you take Rockabilly for the Christmas parade. I mean, I know you were busy, but goodness, they were lined up out the door to get coffee.
Yeah, I actually went up there. I thought before everything gets started, I'll go up and get me a coffee.
That didn't work.
No, it didn't work. They were at the door, and it stayed that way the whole night.
And I'm so tickled for it was one of those things. It was, I think this may have been a year or so ago. I was in there getting a cup of coffee, and there sat Virginia and Holly both, and it was like, and I said, how cool is this? It's 2 female entrepreneurs in small town Carthage, Tennessee, sitting here, and you both local
ladies.
Yeah, that was a really cool sight to see.
Well, and I don't know if people remember back this far, but I remember when I started as chamber director, very few people were parked on Main Street here in Carthage, and
it was wagons and buggies then.
And there were, well, yeah, I'm talking about.
I saw your pictures over here in some of this stuff in the history.
Civil War pictures, the Civil War veterans picture. But when I first started, there wasn't a lot of action going on, and now downtown, it's alive.
It's alive and busy. Yeah.
If you want to eat something and you want to buy something, you can go down there.
That's exactly right.
And when I was truly a child, that was the way it was in Carthage.
Right.
Back.
Well, and you're seeing that all across the state. We've seen that, I think, in the last 2 or 3 years, and COVID may have had a lot to do with that. But you see a lot of these little cool downtowns are really coming back to life. People are getting that, and they're shopping local, and and those boutique craft, it's really a cool thing. And I hope there's more. I mean, I would love to see every building have,
a business in it. That's my goal and my wish is that we see something in every nook and cranny that you can
Well,
get
and the
something
cool
in.
thing about buying from Holly's or Virginia's or two tea shops or, Teresa's Gifts or
River's Edge
any of that is when you buy from those people, that money's not going to a corporate board and they're splitting that money up to a bunch of shareholders that don't have a clue where Carthage, Tennessee is
exactly.
or Gordonsville or they're taking that money. When that money goes in here, it's going. Guess where it's going? It's going right back in the local because they're supporting their schools. They're buying their goods here as well, and they're buying their fuels, and so it truly is a what they call a churn that stays local.
Yeah, and they're buying those ads and the things that support
buying
the sports
ads,
teams.
right?
And all
Absolutely.
of that.
It benefits the courier, it benefits the insider, it benefits the radio station. Those, all our advertising mediums, the rolling billboards. So it's a good thing. It is a really good thing, and I'm excited to see it, and I want to see more of it because an entrepreneur is to me, is a hero because they risked their livelihood on a dream. And when it goes, it's awesome to see.
Well, and another aspect that we haven't really discussed, but we've got a great marina up at Defender.
We do.
And a campground.
I saw some pictures of a pizza the other day, and I'm going to get up there and get one of those pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
It looked really good.
Yeah, they are doing a great job, and that campground up there is in the top 10.
Yes.
And has stayed within the top 10 in the nation.
So we're getting people that drive here.
We're getting people from all over the country that are coming here. And plus we got another good one at Wildwood. And I know Wildwood is sitting right on the edge of Smith County and in Jackson, but that goes to that cooperation.
I always joke with Mayor Haiti in Jackson County that we're going to have an armed invasion, and we're going to take that next bridge and take Wildwood and Granville back, because I feel like we lost that. We should have kept that. But.
Yeah, because my dad was raised on Funds Branch that came through the lake there, and they always went to Granville. They thought they were in Smith County.
That's right.
But you have people that come and visit, and when they come and visit, they spend money. They stay in our hotels. They eat in our restaurants, and they're looking for unique experiences. Mm-hmm. And Carthage is becoming more unique as time goes on because places like where we live, they're not. Some of them are not surviving. No. Like this is, and I think it's wonderful that we're able to keep what we've got and keep the quality of life we have.
I do too.
Mayor, is there anything from a political standpoint? I know not many changes in the offices. You still come to the Turner Building.
Still Turner Building to get your tags, titles, pay your property taxes, deeds, and all. Assessment of properties, all done, still done there.
You go now. If building permits are
building permits are back at the 911 building in front of the Spring County High School. So back there, Mike Nixon's handling all that. He came on board back in April, and he's took it and ran with it, and doing an excellent job on that side, and stays busy.
Yeah, and another thing the county supports. County Court has always supported EMA and EMS.
Rescue Squad.
All of that is run through the county.
Yep.
And I know those guys do, and the EMA guys, they're volunteers.
Yeah, fire and EMA guys Rescue Squad guys are all volunteers. They choose to get out of the bed at night and come to your. And we appreciate what they do and how they do it, and that's on the fire and rescue, and even even our pay guys, our deputies that constantly are out there doing the things they do, our EMS folks that are taking care of you. I always say, those guys show up on your worst day, so we need to be the best we can to help you get through your worst day, because chances are if one of those guys showed up, it's a bad day.
Yeah, and Sheriff Hopper's got a great bunch of people working for him, and they're good, hard-working, honest people. Mm-hmm. And I feel safe over in Lancaster because those guys are patrolling and keeping us.
That's right.
Things like they are. And then, of course, Mickey Barrett is running the road department.
Mickey's done a tremendous job since he's had the job. I think we talked the other day. He has tarred and chipped 26 miles in the last since this year, since he's been appointed and in office. We were really it was really a good thing we were able to shift some of our ARP federal dollars to get him $1 million boost for this year. So if the weather hadn't caught him, he'd still be doing it today. But, he's kind of at a pause till probably April before he can start back, because the weather's got to get better for that oil to work right. So Mickey's doing a tremendous job. His crew, he's working miracles with a 14-man crew, and they work every day and they try to get done. And those guys, that's another crew that, on bad weather, if a tree gets across your road, then they're crawling out of bed and they're coming to saw that tree up and get that done. And we appreciate the job that they're doing. We appreciate Mickey. Mickey's been awesome to work with, and
he's easy to talk to. If you got a problem,
easy to
you
talk
go
to. Mickey's really smart, and he studies what he's doing. He doesn't make a decision based on just Mickey studies out what he wants to do, and he has a plan, and that's half the battle with construction and doing those kind of things. And so really excited to what he can do. Going forward, we've got a plan where we're going to get him another $1 million extra next year, and hopefully that can get him started. And but again, that's a drop in the bucket of what needs to be done on our roads, and that's one of the focuses that I think for me on the next 4 years is I need to work with him and support him as much as I can to get our roads fixed. And that's if our roads are bad, then if your infrastructure is bad, then it's not what you want it. So we're excited to work with Mickey to try to get that fixed and done. And I think Mickey's going to do his best to do everything he can to get that done. We're having we've had a Collier Engineering out of Nashville. They're coming in. They've basically rode and measured every road. They've evaluated them. They're putting together data to come back and tell us and go, okay, Smith County, here's your road list. Here's the worst to the best, and they're going to put a price tag on what, and I think it's going to be pretty staggering, that number. And then we're going to come right behind it with a stormwater survey, which is going to look at our bridges and our culverts and our water crossings, whatever they may be, and get an inventory of that. And all that is done, and we're trying to do this with a lot of stuff. Again, it go back to our sales days, Bill. I don't know if you were like me, but I was not the guy that I didn't want to hear your data, I didn't want to hear your studies, didn't want to hear about your culture. Just let me go sell my stuff and I'll be fine. Well, as you said in my chair today, that data and those outside opinions are key in helping us make decisions, because for the most part, it takes the politics out of it. It's like, here's an independent outsourced expert's opinion of what we should do. So that's something with as much data as we can gather today. That's something that on big major issues like that, I think it's something we really need to focus on, is making sure we get the right data, and that way we can make the right decisions.
Right, and spend the taxpayer dollar as wisely as possible.
Absolutely.
Another thing that a lot of people, I don't know if they realize this, but many people around us, they have to pay for trash collection, and we do not.
We do not.
We can take it
That's right.
to the convenience centers.
I've had people ask me, saying, I went to the dump this morning and I can't go back today. No, you can go back as many times as you need to that day, and it costs you anything. We laugh and joke when we moved from Plunkett's Creek to Bluff Creek that we took so much trash that they made us stop coming, but that's a joke. They didn't. We could have kept coming. We did fill up a couple dumpsters with all the stuff that we were getting out of the house, but that's one of the advantages. And there's not a Smith County tax dollar that goes into the running of that landfill,
right, your
convenience sites, or the hauling of that trash. It's all paid for from outside counties bringing their trash here that we landfill. Is that the way we want to do it? Absolutely not. But in order to not cost it the taxpayers $1 and be able to do that, that is the revenues we have to. I hope someday that we've got enough money built up that we don't have to take outside trash, and we can be fully, self-funded off that. But we're not there yet, and we're continuing to work there.
Well, in the landfill that we have now, we have several years in the cell that we have now, and you have land to build other cells.
And we're currently in the process of getting some new cells permitted. And Johnny and I laugh all the time. We always feel like we're always trying to catch up. And one of the goals of what we're trying to do is to get ahead of it, to where we're not sitting here going, oh gosh, we got to have something in 2 years. Where we go, okay, we've got enough land permitted for 15 years. We can rest at night knowing we've got that took care of. We just got to worry about getting a cell built instead of getting it permitted. Mm-hmm. And that way we can work on other things. And it's something that I talk. there's an issue that, and it's a federal, state level, and it's probably above us, and it's going to have to come from help from probably Washington and even Nashville. Trash is not going away.
No.
It's getting more and more. We see it every day. I mean, how many bags of trash do you take off on Saturday morning?
Probably about 4.
Yeah, well, that's not a lot. But, I mean, everything we have comes in a package. So there's not a recycling markets are not where they want. So the push on the recycling is kind of it's still there, but it's more of a feel good thing. Hey, we're recycling, but you're not really, because dirty little secret, most of it's turned around going back in the landfill. It may not be going in your landfill, but it's going in somebody else's landfill because there's nowhere to go with that recycled product.
Right. I know cardboard is one thing that they do a lot of, but the rest of it is not.
It's not, because they're so picky on how, if you get contaminated. So Senator Haggerty was in town a month or so ago. He was on a farm visit at Catisa, and I mentioned to him, I said, Senator, I said, here's something that concerns me. I said, there's no push to find a better alternative than burying it in the ground. I said, everybody talks about these green energy and converting it to energy. Well, if you talk to TVA or up Cumberland, that's not, because it costs more to add that into their grid than it does for us to, so it's not really a bonus. If you can harness it and use it yourself, then it's okay, but not a lot of people have that capability. So, there's not a lot of technology out there to do with that, and you can't burn, they used to burn it. Well, the EPA stopped that because of emissions, and you still got a dust you got to get rid of. So there's really, outside of burying the ground, there's not a good alternative that we met with a company here a while back that they had one that's like, yeah, we can do this, but it was a $12 million startup. And it's like, I can build a bunch of cells and buy equipment for $12 million and I know what I'm doing. So I said to him, I said, we continuously send money to another foreign country for aid, but you don't worry about us here. I don't understand that. We need to take care of our own first, kind of like the same mentality we have here. The United States needs to take care of itself before we worry about everybody else. And one of the things they need to be looking at is what we can do and what kind of funding they can put. They'll study, all kinds of other stuff. Study that one time. Right.
They need to come up with a solution to that. And it is a growing problem. We're lucky here because we have what we have.
We do.
It's not a glaring problem.
Well, I mean, if we didn't have that, we'd be in a situation, and you're seeing Middle Point and Murfreesboro where they're fixing to, we don't know what's coming there, and there's going to be a lot of counties that are impacted because there's nowhere else to take their trash. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? They're going to come knocking here. We really don't want it. We're where we want to stay and be. So we're not actively looking for new customers because we can't really offset the. Granted, it'd be more money, but it would also be more cost, and it would fill up faster. So you what have you gained?
Well, it's an age-old problem, and it's not just in Smith County.
Oh no, it's everywhere. I mean, that's one of those things that me and my brother mayors across can talk about is, and a lot of those that don't have a landfill, they're at the mercy of whoever has a landfill, and they got to pay that price.
Yeah, and it's costing them.
And here's the thing about it: when they're paying that cost, that solid waste cost, that's property tax money or sales tax money that's going in to fund that. So that's $100,000-$200,000 a year that's not going into roads or into something
Schools
else. That's right.
Or anything
that's right. It's
else
going
that
into trash.
The one aspect I think that we've got going for us that I think is going to grow and be more and more is getting back to the tourism aspect of it, because I'm seeing a lot of people. I actually have people come into the chamber and they have moved here. Mm-hmm. And the reason they moved here is because they visited and they liked what they saw, and they came in. So I think that's going to be a real positive thing for us. And I believe our growth is, I feel it's more controlled than in a lot of places. And I think we're going to be able to handle it.
I do too. It will bring some challenges and headaches, but we can work through those. And you're right. I talk to, when people come in and say, well, I'm from Illinois and I just moved here. I'm from California, just moved here. I'm Colorado, just moved here. And my question always is, how'd you find us? Why here? And the resounding answer I hear, so keep this up, is the beauty, the beauty of the county, and this is some of the nicest people I've ever been around. So that and I want us to keep that, to be those nice people.
Yeah, yeah.
As I say, we're still what's right with the world, and I always want to stay that.
Yeah, and you've said many times, we go to church, we go to ball games, and we go to work.
That's it.
And
we'll help somebody in need. That's right.
Help them when they need something. So I think
that's what we do.
That's a good thing. Mayor, it's of course December, and we got holidays coming up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to step out of the frame and let you just kind of give your, Merry Christmas and anything that you just feel like saying.
I'll do that. I was afraid you was going to make me sing like you do. So thank you, Bill. Thank you, Kobe and the Chamber for putting this on. And this is a great thing, great opportunity. Thank the Smith County Heritage Museum for hosting us today. This is a great place. If you've not come and saw this, you need to get here and see this. This is really interesting. I want to come back where I can spend days and read everything. Every time I come back, I don't have that time to do it. But from my family to your family, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And remember that this wasn't about a man in a red suit or toys and gifts. It's about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ's birth. So if we remember those things and keep that in our hearts, that's what Christmas is truly about. And I thank you for allowing me to have the best job in the world and to work for and serve the greatest people in the world. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Okay, well, you got a few announcements to make, and we want to let you know about Santa visits Friday, December the 16th from 3:30 to 5, and Saturday, 8:30 to 10 a.m. at the Citizens main branch in Carthage, Citizens Bank. And then we wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that we've got going here. We are in the process of this spring bringing out a kayak map, and these are the folks that have advertised on it, and it won't be a single sheet like this, it'll be a map itself. But we wanted to thank these folks for becoming a part of the Caney Fork River kayak map that we've got going on, and we've got a lot of good folks here that have advertised in this, and we hope that you'll pick up one of these maps if you're going to be on the river. And as you can see, it gives you the drop-off and the stopping points on each part of the river, and actually on the Cumberland as well, all the way down to the Rome access from Center Hill Dam. And this will be a good map for you to come by the Chamber and get. And of course, we want you to do business with these fine folks that helped us make this. We think it's going to be a real positive thing for our county and for the folks that advertised in it. Also, from December the 17th through the 31st, which if you're looking at this in New Year's, you will have missed it. But we're going to do another one of these in the spring. This is a passport, shop around passport. And what you do is you go into a merchant that's participating in this, and the merchants will be listed right here, and they're chamber members, of course. And we are going to give you 2 free passes when you pick one of these up at the chamber, or you can go to the merchant and pick one up. And you get a stamp every time you make some purchase there at their store, and you get this passport stamped. If you get 34 stamps, then you're going to be in the 14 drawings that we have for $100. And if you and when I say 14, you get 14 chances at every 2 stamps is put in the $100 drawing. Then if you get all 35 of them, then you're put in the drawing for the $400 prize. So you could potentially get $100, or you could get $400. And the passport itself explains how this works. And you need to come by the chamber. You can get one for free, or go by the participating merchants shops, and they will let you get a stamp every time you buy something, and you'll be able to be put in the drawing. Now, Near Star Mines has graciously sponsored this, so it's free to the participating merchants that are in the chamber. And if you are a merchant out there and you want to participate in this, just give us a call at 735-2093 at the chamber, and we can tell you all about it. We are going to do another one of these in the spring, and we're hoping that this is popular enough and people would like to have the money that they'll be wanting to do this year-round. So we're going to try another one in the spring. We're trying this one during the shopping center season in December. And so if you want any information about this, or you want to know about the Shop Around Passport, let us know, and we will help you to get one of these in your hand so that you can maybe win some money. Folks, we really appreciate you watching the show today, and we hope that you've are having and will have good holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. And may God bless you and everyone in your family. And thank you for living in Smith County and being a part of what we do here.